Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Soulfulpreneur Talk Radio with your hosts Rachel Archelaus and Megan Grandelmeyer. Merging spirituality and business on the Enlightenment Evolution Network.
Hey everybody, it's Rachel Archelaus here, and I have Megan Grandelmeyer with me.
Hi there.
We're coming to you live today from Connecticut. It will be one of the last times. We're actually both in the same place, so stay tuned for new developments on that. We have an amazing show for you today. We're talking to spiritual maverick Michael Alperstein, who is doing so many things right now, one of which is he's kind of a host to a community called lightworkersworld.com online. He has his own website at luminousLiving.com. He's a life coach, and he does so much more. So stay tuned for that. We'll talk to him later. You can call in and ask him questions, and I believe he's going to guide us through a process. So it's really going to be an interactive show today. We're not just going to talk at you. And we really do welcome your input, your comments, and your questions. And you can call us at 347-308-8788. This show is all about bridging spirituality and business. So, yeah, let's get started. First, we're going to give you our network update so that you can be aware that we're part of a network called the Enlightenment Evolution Network, and we have shows about every day of the week. Starting Tuesday, July 22nd. Isn't that today? That's today.
It is. It's tonight.
That's awesome. So come back later for Victoria Vive Swang's show, Earth, Sky, People Radio, your bridge between heaven and earth. She'll talk about living in oneness with one another, with Mother Earth, and with life beyond Earth.
On Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern, we have the Enlightenment Evolution Hour with Rob Gossier, and he is the person that started this network, and he channels Treb, who takes all callers' questions, and he also has special guests such as channelers and other metaphysical teachers. And you can find more about Rob on trebchanneling.com.
Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific is Philip Malaka's Consciousness Evolution Hour. On his show, he discusses in depth a wide range of metaphysical topics from the perspective of the fifth dimension. You can find Philip and the Consciousness Evolution 2.0 group at Facebook/groups/SethAbe. You can also subscribe to his YouTube page by searching Philip Malaka on YouTube.
And Friday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, we have the Earth Experience with Kalina Angel. And Kalina explores our soul's expansion through our human experiences on Earth.
Saturday mornings is the Odyssey Ascension with Roxanne Swinehart at 11 a.m. Join the one and only Roxy for 2 hours of Blow Your Mind Ascension downloads. Be open, be ready, and just be with us while we answer your questions about past lives, ETs, soul purpose, energy activations, and all things ascension. Roxy is a channeler and ascension guide.
On Sundays at noon Eastern, we have About Oneness with Karen Newman. She presents her weekly radio show focused on celebrating the ongoing conscious awakening of our planet and our realization of oneness and unconditional love. Karen is an author, lecturer, integrated channel, and intuitive.
And Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern is Heart to Heart Talk Radio with Daniel Scranton. Join him and his featured guests as they discuss topics such as the shift, ETs, global events, channeling, energy work, toning and sound healing, manifestation, and all things metaphysical. Each show will open the phone lines to callers, generating high-frequency discussions on anything and everything related to living on planet Earth and beyond.
Wonderful.
Yeah, excellent network. We're so glad that you could be here with us today. And with Michael Alperstein.
Yeah, so let us tell you a little bit about Michael. He is known as a spiritual maverick, and his mission is to solve problems at their core by creating spontaneous and out-of-the-box solutions. He guides you back to your heart and into aliveness and trust. He's a life coach showing you how to use the magic within yourself and how to bring spirituality and positive energy into daily life. He's the author of Mastery Where You Are and the director of the online community Lightworkers World. And you can also find him at his website, luminousLiving.com. So let me just click this button here. Hi, Michael.
Good afternoon, Megan and Rachel. Can you hear me?
You too, yes.
Yes, great
Good.
to have you here. Thank you for taking the time.
Oh, my pleasure, my honor. I'm excited and just feeling the connection as people start to come on the line. So I'm just going to jump right in and encourage everyone who's listening, who's tuning in, to just take a moment to just slow down, take a few deep breaths, honor this beautiful space, this show that Megan and Rachel have so conscientiously and courageously created to support our transformation. And I'm just excited to be here.
Fantastic. Thank you, Michael. So talk to us a little bit about Luminous Living and your work there.
Yes. That was the very first domain name that I had, and like 8 years ago when it was not as easy. And as soon as that went up, something in me just lit up, and something clicked where I realized, wow, I can shine and share with others. So I've always just loved the light theme, and luminous living to me is just a way to really take to heart our own light and take it into daily living, whether you're at the post office or at the grocery store or wherever. So the website itself is just kind of a metaphor for what luminous living really, really is. And I'm going to encourage everyone to really, really, I think this is a time where there's certain deaths that are happening for people. I know so many people that are letting go of just something that didn't work or an old way, and it's time to let something new emerge. And we don't actually have to know how, but there's just a sense of coming home to our heart, to the space in ourselves that facilitates this, and that opens the door to magic. So that's what luminous living is to me. It's all my work in all that I do, from the tiniest Twitter post to the biggest event. It all comes down to coming home to your heart and starting there, and just the simplicity of that, and then the rest. That's really great. Explodes from there.
So I know that a lot of people are feeling like they want to share more, and that does require a kind of death of that feeling of self-consciousness, right? We always want to be perfect. We always want to put our best foot forward. How can people, or do you have a tip for people who feel like they want to share more and be more in their light, but are maybe a little afraid?
That's a great question. I think the key is to really realize that when you are sharing your unique gift, whatever it is, whether it's channeling or grounding or, teaching skateboarding or art or whatever, when you're really sharing that, there's just a part of you that knows how to do it. It's that simple. And so the fear comes from, what will people think, and I'm not ready, and I'm not perfect. But in those moments, you've kind of lost that that just the simplicity of it. Oh, I'm a good artist, or I'm a good blah, blah, blah. And so the key is to reacquaint yourself with just the simple knowing, oh, I am a good writer, or I am good at this. So when you're sharing from that place, it's not better than or worse than anyone else. It's just, wow, I have a piece of the pie to share. We all have a place and a unique gift and a talent. And so I think holding that space where you're sharing your, just from the ease, sharing from ease, and then that cuts through the doubts like a sword, because you're just sharing from ease. And you might even repeat that to yourself. I share my talents with ease and grace and effortlessness. I share them, make that your intention, and then doors can start to open. Yes, you need a website, you need a this, and, there's the practical human level, but the doors open through that sense of ease.
Yeah, and the tangible is no less spiritual than the sharing,
Absolutely,
I love that.
Yeah.
You're a great
Say more about that.
model.
What's an example of that for you, how the tangible blends with the spiritual?
Well, like you're saying, the website itself is no less spiritual just because it was made in this earth, right? The chair that I sit on is no less sacred. Yeah.
And the intention with which we work on these things really has a huge impact. So if I would say that Twitter post is probably the shortest, simplest thing. If you write a Twitter post with as much clarity and heart as you can, that affects the way people read it. The way you create something affects the way people see it, because you're sending out a telepathic packet in that moment of creation. So what you put into it is felt, and the human side, the practical side, is just the vehicle for the vibration of our intention and our frequency.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
What
so what we're doing here, we're talking about one thing, but at the same time, keep on encouraging everyone who's listening to tap into their unique spiritual talent. And it doesn't necessarily mean they have to be an entrepreneur or quit their day job or anything like that. That can be the vehicle. And luminous living starts from just honing in on that feeling of your soul purpose and holding that vibration wherever you are. So I'm just as you're listening, if you're just coming in this moment, wherever, if you missed the beginning of the show, just take a moment to put your hand on your heart, take a few deep breaths, and honor that there's a spiritual vision that's guiding you, that's guiding all of us, that's inherent in your being.
So do you have some tips for people that perhaps are working in jobs right now and they're not fun jobs? Maybe it's a very monotonous job, or because it's hard for people to shift out. They have financial obligations and families and kids to take care of. So do you have some thoughts on that, and how, even if you're stuck at the moment, how someone
I have a lot of thoughts on that. This phrase came to me a long time ago, and it's been kind of a lifesaver, a lifeline ever since. And it goes like this: the more you truly recognize your freedom within your shell or your prison, the more you experience total freedom. So what that means is, if you feel a bit trapped, or if you feel totally trapped, there's a way, you don't necessarily have to break out of that. It's just hold the space that you can find even more freedom in the space you are in, wherever you are. Years ago, I used to work at a coffee shop, and I hated it on a certain level. But then I realized, what freedom do I have here? And so I started doing something a little different. I started, talking to the customers in a different way. I started, knocking on other doors. It was sort of before the internet, and, maybe I put up a little note on a bulletin board seeking part-time work. Or I remember I started volunteering somewhere after work. I started, instead of feeling totally trapped in where I was like, okay, let me see if I can bring a little more freedom to this prison, quote unquote prison. Let me see if I can find a little more sense of fulfillment where I am, and that you just have to trust that something's going to happen. You'll get an insight. Something will start to shift. You may not know the way out. You may not be ready to take the leap and totally quit your job because you need to pay the bills. That's all understandable. But instead of putting all your focus on, oh, I'm trapped, oh, woe is me, start to inch your way out of that. Just break through. Everyone knows how to do this. There isn't a method or a technique. It's just breaking free of that poor me program, stepping out of it, looking out the window, looking in a new way and saying, okay, what are some simple things I can do to re-recognize my freedom in this difficult situation?
That's great. It reminds me of Viktor Frankl, who was in the concentration camp and took control of his state and of his feelings of freedom and knew that he was free because he himself could never be dominated. His spirit could never be taken over by another force. And what you're talking about is really similar to that. It's like you have a choice in every moment. No matter what it looks like on the outside, you still have the ultimate say in how you feel.
Yes.
So, and that's the best place to start. And then, of course, your reality does shift to match that eventually.
It does, yeah.
That's fabulous. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I would love to go back a little bit and
Sure.
to the website and intention thing you were talking about, because you have a huge community in Lightworkers World, and I'm sure you created that with the intention of drawing people together, and it obviously worked. Do you want to tell us how you did that?
Yeah, sure. I want to, let me see. How did I do that? I can't wait to hear what I'm going to say.
That's awesome. I can be like that too, where things happen and then you realize you're kind of a backwards goal setter.
Yeah. I think above all, there's just a sense of really, really putting the highest quality work out there. As much as I can. Sure, I have times where I share something fluffy or I'm in a rush or whatever, but 90% of the time, I'm like, okay, what would really be of service? What's the deepest message here? And when I'm in that mode and my heart is really in this, and this is really, really just coming from the heart, then it reaches the people who need to see it. That's when people share and go, oh my God, that's just what I needed to hear today. That's just, wow, thank you for sharing that. Or what a great article. And Rachel, I know you've written some articles for Lightworkers World and that have gone viral. And there's just, quality meets quality. Quality sparks something. There's just symbiosis, whatever the word is, between the person who is sharing and the people who are receiving. And there's not a huge difference between that. We're all, at times I'm the one who needs support, and at times I'm the one who gives it. And if you come to that with the highest quality, then people respond. So I think that's how it's just grown naturally.
That's fabulous. I love that. And, there's a little bit of faith in that, too, where I'm sure when you started it, you didn't have, 100,000 followers.
Right.
It probably took some time, but you just kept putting out your best work, and it built up.
It's true. And then there's some sense that, like, there's something much bigger at work that supports all of these endeavors. Whenever we're kind of aligned with our soul purpose, the universe sort of bends and melds and supports that. So I don't even feel like I'm controlling everything I do on the internet or online. It's like I'm doing my part, and I show up, and I, connect with my heart as much as I can. And there's something bigger. There's a dance that happens, and we connect with our soul friends that way. And that's the beauty of social media and the internet these days, where our soul family is going, yay, hey, I know Megan over there, but even though we've never met, so I think I've gathered I've gathered soul groups is kind of what it is, and there's a familiarity that people sense, and it can get interspersed with a loneliness or a distance, and that's sometimes the challenge people have. I get emails from people that say, wow, I still haven't found my tribe or things like that. And yet, I think the key is to really recognize that our tribe is living and alive on this planet, near and far. And when we sense that in our heart, in this moment, just coming back to even this moment on this radio show, however many people are listening, I can guarantee that a certain number of them are just part of your tribe. We're here. We are here. So, and we can connect in any moment, but it starts with connecting with ourselves.
Yeah, that's awesome. I definitely have become much more aware of those connections. I guess we've talked before in the past, and my spiritual awakening, if we want to call it that, happened over the last few years. And so certain things I now recognize where people that I've connected with in the past, and I connected with them so quickly, and you're fast friends, and you don't quite know why, and then there's other people in your life that you've known for years and years, and you have kind of nothing to say. And
yes.
And so it's funny, and I know recently in the last couple of years, especially with my transformation more recently, I've met people that are part of my tribe for sure, and even have had some like psychic experiences between us that are hard to explain, but I'd say it was just some sort of clue that you're connected to this person on a different level. Yet sometimes with those connections, it seems as though those people aren't supposed to be, your best friend or somebody you're spending a ton of time with. What do you think that's about? Like, we recognize them, but we're on different tasks at this time that you don't necessarily spend tons of time with those people?
Right. I think we are supporting each other and cheering each other on from near and far. Mm-hmm. And, it helps to have a little bit of the vehicle, of the human vehicle, like a call or an email, like, hey, thinking of you, good luck with the new show or the whatever. Of course, that's the human level. We don't discard that, but yet, wow, there are people rooting for us who may not be in our day-to-day lives. Mm-hmm. We just really, really need to know that. And, visible and invisible, the unseen and the seen. And but to not think of them as out there. You know, family is you feel it in your heart first. You just feel it. And so let's up the energy of the familiarity of being with family. I'm just going to invite everyone listening.
That's great.
To just tap in to the feeling in their body wherever you are, even if you're on the run or in the car or whatever. Just hold a space as much as you can for the familiarity of your sense of self, of your spiritual family. Even if you're listening to this on archive, it doesn't matter. Family is still on the archives. We're here, and there's a field of support that gets reactivated, that gets sent. So if you might notice the sense of connection has just gone up a notch, and as we keep talking, it's going to go up even more. But it starts with that familiarity of yourself. Wow, this is who I really, really am. Not just my thoughts, not just the work that I do, just that familiar feeling of just noticing your presence. So just come back to that in this moment. Good.
That's great. I just want to put something in. Oh, sorry.
Sure. No, go ahead.
I can speak to that sense of loneliness sometimes because, so in my particular case, I have a specific task on Earth this time. It's not something I work on all the time consciously, but it's part of who I am now. And there are about a handful of other people who are on the same task as me, but we chose not to consciously connect. We chose not to live near each other or to know each other, in this lifetime as Rachel and Megan and Michael. But every night when we go to sleep, we all meet up, and we meet up in this kind of room, and we talk and connect and support each other from there, because it allows us to do our job better on Earth if we weren't all, huddled in a corner together. We need to be out there meeting people and living our lives. And when I figured that out, which was with the help from Nora Harold, it did give me that connection that you're talking about. I'm not mad that I don't know them. I'm not upset. I don't feel lonely anymore. I know that we are supporting each other. It's just that we're not doing it in this conscious, physical way. So if anyone else out there is feeling lonely, know that you're really never alone. You're completely supported all the time, but you just may have chosen not to have that conscious feeling of it for reasons that would benefit you.
That is beautiful. I keep having the thought, I know at one point you wanted to perhaps open it up as to see if there were any questions, or Rachel, you might do some mini readings. I'm all for it. This might be a good time if you're feeling to do that.
We've got a couple of people on the line. I'm just going to let them know that if you want to ask a question, you can press 1 on the phone. So anyone on the line, press 1. And if you're listening and you want to call in and ask a question of Michael or get a reading, you can call 347-308-8788. So I will let you know when someone raises their hand. So thank you for that.
Sure.
Yeah. So do you think that everyone has a soul purpose, a true calling, and what if you're in a place where we have talked to some people where they feel like they have something they need to do, but they're not sure what it is? Do you have tips for figuring that out?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would make it really, really simple. Start simple. And you find the answer through simplicity. It's like, what comes easy for you? Maybe it's where do you light up? Some people it's out in nature. some people it's working with kids, or some people it's, doing art or coding on a computer. It's like don't even worry about what it's going to look like on the outer level. You can't, you're just going for the familiar feeling inside first. It has to start there. And you start to feed that feeling, whether it's, I don't know, it's usually something more creative or artistic, usually, but not always, carving wood or writing. But you're going for that feeling of, I'm good at this, and I know how to do this. And it's so simple. It's not about chasing anything. In fact, it's the opposite of chasing. It's just, wow. It's that feeling of going for it. And that's where it starts. And the more you nurture that and brighten that light and start to share that in some way, again, it could be that prison metaphor. Maybe you love, carving wood, but you still work at Hewlett-Packard or whatever. But maybe one day you bring a little wood carving to your cubicle, and people go, hey, what's that? Oh, something I do on the side or whatever. And you don't know, but at the very least in that moment, you've tapped into the joy. You've had an exchange with someone in your prison. You've created some freedom in that quote-unquote prison, if it feels that way. It may or may not. And then you had the joy. Give yourself the joy of following your heart, even if you're not fully earning a living at it yet. Yes, the intention is to be a soulfulpreneur and to earn money one intention is to earn money and at what your spiritual gift is. But it could be inch by inch, and you start tapping into that gift and enjoying that. That's what I would say is the start.
Yeah. Well, I think the key is patience, which is not my strong suit. I haven't made a pill for that yet. I seem to I like change, and I like things happening quickly. I'm not sure. Something I've been reflecting on lately. Like, why is that?
I think it also takes just, like Michael was saying, like be in the moment and recognize how far you've come already. Whenever Megan says that, I just laugh because she's come so far so fast. But, we don't.
I know, it's so true. And she'll say, I started on the path 3 weeks ago. Most of us have been 20 years. So, it's a huge, huge shift. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, sorry, continue on.
Yeah.
No, that's perfect, Michael. That's great. And we actually do have a question. So
okay, great.
So somebody has called in. It looks like, I don't know if this is through Skype.
Could be
or something.
A Skype number.
Yeah. I'm going to unmute. And if you're on Skype, hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing great. I hope you guys are. I was just wondering, I do spiritual readings, and that's where I feel like my space is, but it seems like I get stuck in the going out and making the connection, where to do the readings and everything. But when I'm doing the readings, I feel like that I'm just one with Source at that point. Because I'm not really doing anything. I'm just sitting there being the channel.
Mhm.
So I guess what I'm asking is there a, I don't know, does he have any advice maybe or see anything, or maybe he could just give me a mini reading or something?
Okay, so your question is that you're finding it difficult to find clients or even to find space to work?
No, it's not. It's just that it's like I'm kind of like stuck. It's like the opportunities come, but it's like I just can't seem to move in that direction at that time, or I don't know. It's like I have a block or something somewhere.
All right, so just to be clear, so when you're doing the readings, you're fine. You're open, you're on it, you love it, it's great. But getting the opportunities to do readings is what's stuck for you right now.
Yeah, it just seems like I'm kind of in a place in transition, or it's just I don't really know what to do at this point.
Okay, well, yeah. Michael, do you have any advice for her?
Yeah, maybe we can work together, Rachel.
Sure.
I would say find some sense of playfulness to that stuck feeling. It's a feeling, you know. It may not be perfectly accurate. You know, there's the story that goes with that, and maybe there's experiences, or last week when I tried that, I felt stuck, or 3 months ago. But that's the story of stuckness.
Okay, all right, I'm with you on that. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm not. It may be partially true, it may not, but I'm just start to recognize that there is some sort of that the consciousness that you tap into when you're doing a reading is not stuck in the same way, and that can be accessed even in other times when you're not doing the reading. Not that you would necessarily be on the bus and you're suddenly, chanting or doing a reading, but it's to really realize that there is some sense of freedom and focus that's beyond that stuck story. And when you really start to feel into that more, then that's when you can start to get different insights, or you might attract someone that says, hey, did you think of advertising here? Or did you think of this? Or how about a Facebook page? Or, that's where something new can happen. As you bring a newness to the stuck experience, something new is bound to happen.
Okay. All right. That sounds good.
Okay.
I would just add that, what kind of feeling do you want to feel? So if you feel stuck right now, is there a frequency that would feel really good to you? So can you ask your body to access the frequency of, let's see, joyful wealth? That's what I like. Where the clients are there, space is there, everything is open to you, and you're loving it. How does that feel in your body?
Okay, I can do that.
Can you see the change in your body?
Yeah, I feel freer and lighter. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what Michael's saying. Like, if you were to walk around with that frequency, and even when you're on the bus, even when you're walking down the street, try to remind yourself to carry that frequency. Then those opportunities will come to you, and just pay attention. Like Michael said, people will suggest things. People will make offers or just come out of the blue and ask if you do readings. Everything will fall into place once you're carrying around that frequency. And I would also add...
Is there any trick, like getting into that frequency, or, I don't know, is there some way to move into
method.
it?
It's as natural as the giving readings is for you. You can use there may be some method or an exercise that can jumpstart it, but ultimately, I really, really know that there's something in you knows how to do this. Something in you just knows. So the tricks can jumpstart it, but you're really going for that perpetual motion feeling of, wow, I know how to do this. So now when I work on my website or work on this or work on the next action, I'm coming from that, I know how to do this. So start to really, really integrate. I get the feeling when you're there with a person, it's easy, and the reading comes easy. It can come that easily in other ways.
It's like almost, when I'm doing readings, it's like the easiest thing I've ever done, and it's just, I mean, it's so satisfying. I mean, when the people, I feel like I've helped the people. I've been of service to them. I've been able to bring through other people and, just really help them. I don't know. It's just, like you said, it's probably me just being able to get into that space and that frequency to be able just to know that, I can do it. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It is the easiest thing in the world, and your body knows how to access that frequency. So you just said you felt freer. So you were just in that frequency. There's no trick to it.
Right.
You just ask your body for it, and then you're there.
Yeah, I guess I just need to be more conscious and just really, like you said, just stay in that frequency and that mindness of it.
Yep, that's really all it takes. And also ask yourself, what would excite you? Where would you love to do readings? Keep that as a focus. So bring that playfulness in there too.
Okay.
Make it as fun as you can, and I think it'll really shift for you.
Okay. All right. Well, I really appreciate both of your help very much. Thank you so very much. It's been a great blessing. Thank you.
You're
Great
welcome.
question. Thank you.
Keep us updated for sure. And thanks, Michael.
You're welcome.
I will. Thank you.
Well, great. She was awesome.
Yeah. That's so key for everybody. We really can rewrite that story of stuckness, like Michael was saying, bringing a playful attitude, knowing that it's just a story, even if there are some clues that it could be true in your life. I love how you said that.
Yeah. I mean, there is an outer world that appears before us and gives us feedback, but it's not as solid as it appears, and the knowing in our heart supersedes that every time.
Yeah, that's something I think I still struggle with a bit. I think because for 40 years I was a pretty solid analytical, now balancing this much more focused spiritual life. It's hard because there's not always proof, right? Yet stuff happens that we can't explain.
Yeah, for most
or
of us,
stuff happens that other people can't explain that just aren't open to it in the way that the people listening to this radio show would be open to it.
That's true. I think, it does require a shift of friends and focus. And it's amazing when it opens up how much information is out there.
Yes.
And how much support is really out there. You just have to tune in. Yeah.
And we do have the internet, and that has been a big piece of the mission of Lightworkers World, where someone can share something, and it would be really hard for someone to share something that I thought was weird. It's like you're weird if you're not talking about aliens or channeling or, in Lightworkers World, it's like that's the normal is
right.
The normal and weird have been reversed,
Yeah, absolutely.
It's fabulous, and it's such a great resource for people who are looking for
weird is the new normal. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, nothing much shocks me anymore when I but just some things interest me more than others. But
of course, yeah,
but yet you read something that sounds a little odd, you're like, well, it's probably true.
Right.
So yeah. Well, it looks like we do have another caller that has a question, so we're going to go to area code 443.
Hi.
Welcome.
Kathy.
Hi, Kathy. We're doing great. How are you?
Good.
What can we help you with?
How do I find out what my life purpose is?
Michael, you want to start off with that?
Wait, I missed that. I missed the question.
How do I find out what my life purpose is?
I would say just for the moment, just take a breath, and just first and foremost, I just want to honor you for even wanting clarity on that question, just, hey, speaking it out in public is like, okay, universe, how do I find this out? And that's just feel the strength with which you just got through and called. So that's a clue right there. That's tapping into that desire for something more meaningful. That's the first thing. And then who's to say, what are we really talking about when we talk about soul purpose? Are we talking about the way we earn a living? Or are we talking about, wow, I'm just here to shine my light and really be of service to everyone I meet? There might be a difference here. I mean, I've had a lot of different, quote-unquote, jobs, and maybe you have too. So, let's just distinguish a little bit between job and soul purpose. What does soul purpose mean to you?
Retiring out of my current job and doing something I love.
Okay. That might very well be true. I can't really know for sure, and yet I know in my life there is a distinction between job and soul purpose, because I used to have a lot of jobs, but I would be shuffling papers around, working for an accountant or something, but at the same time, there was something else. There was an energy healing going on. So in that sense, looking back on it, wow, I think I was on my soul purpose all along. So I'm just challenging you a little bit here that there may very well be an amazing job, way to earn a living that makes your heart sing, and I want you to find that. I want you to have that. And that doesn't necessarily mean you haven't been on your soul purpose or you're not right now. So just...
I might be working on it and don't even know it.
Yes. And exactly. Well said. But I'm saying that you can know it. And we're here to support you, and there's a lot of support for that.
Okay.
Rachel, do you have anything, or Megan, or either one of you to add?
Yeah, I agree. So I believe that our soul purpose really is to live our lives and to be exactly who we would love to be, to be our best selves, our most happy, most fulfilled. And lining up with that will always bring you the exact amount of wealth and security that you want. When you live full out for yourself, you live doing the things that bring you that greatest excitement that, you're so excited to wake up in the morning to do, you'll be taken care of financially. There's just no other way to do it because as, we're not really humans. None of us is really just a human. We're all creating this reality out of our energetic truth. And so, like Michael said earlier, follow the little things right now. Like, what is easy for you? What puts a smile on your face when you're doing it? What can you talk about for hours with your friends? Or what would you like to have a friend that you could talk to about that thing? Do an inquiry and just start from there and let yourself be curious and explore who you are and what you love to do. And that will grow. You'll find things that will lead you to doing more of that in your daily life before you retire. And then you'll learn eventually either how to make money from it or money will come from somewhere else to support you in doing that more.
Okay.
I know it's not a short answer, but, everything's a journey.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Is there something from when you were a child that you really loved and then maybe put aside? Is there something that you used to dream of being or doing when you were very young? I just get the feeling that there was.
Yeah, well, not that young, but when I was in high school, I wanted to be a flight attendant. But I don't want to do that now.
But you don't want to do that now, and why is that?
I want to travel, but not be the flight attendant part.
But there's something in that. It may not be that, but it could be like tap into what the sense of love is in that. Is it the sense of freedom? Is it stepping out of the familiar into an unknown place? Is it rising above the earth? Is it like go for the absolute essence of that desire and the energy of that? Like, boy, what does it feel like to just fly everywhere? And it may not be flight attendant anymore, but maybe it's flying with your heart. Maybe there's something else.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I know it seems really abstract and kind of disconnected from reality to start at such a small level, but connecting to your joy and learning to follow that, like learning to follow when you wake up in the morning and you want to look up, trips online, or you want to make a little vision board on Pinterest about places you'd like to travel. Those little urges are what is going to connect you with that bigger path that you're seeking right now. So no action, no intuition, no nudge is too small to ignore. You want to pay attention to the little things, and then those will naturally add up.
Yeah, and clarity comes with that. We can't tell you what it is as much as I wish we could. But it's.
Oh my God! I thought you were fortune telling. You took your ball out.
Oh, come on! Let's just tell her. Come on, she's called in. We might as well tell her sole purpose. Come on.
All right.
Thank you, Kathy.
You're welcome.
Have a great day.
You too.
I think you were right on. It's really the little things, and then and following that little thread, and then you might hit a little dead end. Okay, it wasn't that, but then you try something else, and you keep that spark alive, and you let the flame grow higher, and clarity comes through that. And then before you know it, you're holding a brighter candle. Then next thing you know, another person has joined you, and you have 2 candles, and then a small group, and you're in a different reality. Maybe you have a different job, or people join you, or you then feel different at your current job. How about we just start there? If it's too big a leap to quit your current job, make your intention to really, really upgrade. I'm going to upgrade my experience at my current job. And you just stand true to that intention. You don't know exactly how to do it. Your mind doesn't know, but your heart knows. I'm going to upgrade this experience in my current situation. And you just stay open.
I absolutely agree with that, Michael. I think that when you start living more true to who you are, you get rid of some of the, I'm stuck, and more focused on what is meaningful to you, even if it's stuff that you do outside of work. When that vibration picks up, people around you notice. And, perhaps if you are in a job you don't love, new people will start talking to you, or new conversations will start to come up. I've found that amazing, the conversations that I've had with people, and some that I've known for years, and yet all of a sudden we have this ability to speak about much more abstract or philosophical subjects, and it's fabulous.
That's fabulous. And that's because you've become a new person. You're vibrating as a different you than you were 6 months ago or a year ago. And they're seeing that, and it brings out you're shining brighter, and it brings out a different experience. There's this old quote from the Seth books. I don't know if you guys ever read those, but it just, and it stayed with me. It says, you change the most permanent seeming conditions of your life constantly through the varying attitudes you have toward them. Yeah. And, it seems like we have this job or whatever, but whoa, it's much more malleable than we might think. And our expectations, if we change our expectations, the whole situation shifts.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Michael, if people are wanting to work with you more or to learn more about what you're doing these days, how can they get in touch with you?
My main website for myself is luminousLiving.com, like bright living, LUMINOUS living.com, and I have some articles on there, and that's kind of my online home right now. And I give a pretty good sense of how I work with people. Really, in all that I do, it's just being present. It's coming back to the presence in your heart. I always, everything is about just coming home to your heart and tapping into that joy that's within, and then finding your spiritual gifts from within. And I hold a space for that to happen, and work with energy and intuition and guidance and spontaneity to help bring that about. So, Luminous Living is kind of my main site, and then I still run Lightworkers World, which is really, it's there for all of us to shine and share our gifts.
Wonderful. All right.
Thank you.
That's great.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, do you have any parting comments or anything else you want to share before we let you go on with the rest of your day? It's
yes.
1 o'clock where you are.
I would say, just to everyone listening, just there is a wealth of goodness and gifts within you, and just share them with yourself, with those you meet, through a smile, to a stranger, just out in nature, just through your journey, through your day. Be willing to shine your light, and the journey will take on a life of its own, and you'll connect with more greatness and magic and spontaneity and humor and fun if you just start small and just honor that gift inside yourself and let it grow.
That's beautiful.
Very beautiful.
Yeah.
So, listeners, if you want more from Michael, go to his website, luminousliving.com. He has such great things to share, and I'm sure you update your website. So, thank you so much for being here and for helping us with these great big topics like websites and business and soul purpose. And you speak so eloquently about everything. So thank you.
You're very welcome. My pleasure.
Awesome. Okay, Michael. Well, you have a wonderful afternoon.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Well, that was awesome. He's so amazing because any question you ask, he's so centered.
Mhm. I know. I feel like I just want to keep going, and it went by so fast.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we'll definitely try to get Michael back on if he'll come on again.
Come on in the fall.
Yeah.
So just to remind you that we're part of the Enlightenment Evolution Network, and you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Enlightenment Evolution Network. So you can like that page, and that will put into your feed reminders about all the other shows that we have on the network. So just to remind you, starting tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, we have Victoria Vives Wong, who will host Earth Sky People, your bridge between heaven and earth.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that show. Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern is the Enlightenment Evolution Hour with Rob Gauthier. He's the creator of this network, and he channels a benevolent reptilian called Treb, who is just fabulous. And Treb answers your questions on the show, and Rob also has really great guests. You can learn more at trebchanneling.com.
And then Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern, we have Philip Malika's Consciousness Evolution Hour. And he discusses a wide range of metaphysical topics from the perspective of the fifth dimension. And you can also find Philip Malika on YouTube if you search his name.
Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific is the Earth Experience with Kalina Angel. She explores our soul's expansion through our human experiences on Earth.
And then Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific for the early birds, we have the Odyssey Ascension with Roxanne Swainhart. Join Roxy for 2 hours of Ascension downloads, and she will answer your questions about past lives, ETs, soul purpose, energy activations, and all things Ascension.
Sundays at noon Eastern, starting July 20th, so that was couple days ago. Yep. Karen Newman presents a weekly radio program focused on celebrating the ongoing conscious awakening of our planet and our realization of oneness and unconditional love. Karen is amazing, and she's also an author, lecturer, integrated channel, and intuitive.
And then last but not least, we have Heart to Heart Talk Radio with Daniel Scranton, and that's on Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern. And he discusses topics such as the shift, global events, channeling, energy work, and sound healing. And he also opens the phone lines and takes questions from callers.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. I will be on my own next week as Megan will be on vacation. And let's do it. Let's have a great show. Call in, get readings. And just want to also say that Megan and I can help you with websites and figuring out your soul purpose in business. So go to our webpage at soulfulpreneur.com and learn more.
Terrific. Well, it was a great show.
Awesome show.
And good luck next week without me. Maybe I'll call in and get a reading.
Ooh, that would be really fun.
Okay.
All right, everybody, have an amazing week. We love you and we'll miss you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Talk to you soon.